Now Sweeney, Dwayne Sweeney! Sweeney's over!
Can you please hand it over to your captain, Dwayne Sweeney?
Welcome to Real Tales with Sweens. In this episode, I catch up with Tim Seifert. Tim is an international cricket player who currently specialises in the short forms of the game. He is a Blackcap who has represented the team in both ODIs and T20s as a wicketkeeper batsman. It has been T20 cricket where Tim has really made a name for himself for his aggressive batting style at the top of the order, and is currently the New Zealand record holder for the fastest century, which came off only 40 balls. It's not only the New Zealand selectors that have taken notice of the big-hitting top-order batsman. Tim has also been selected to compete in both the Caribbean Premier League and the pinnacle of T20 cricket, the world-famous IPL. In this episode, we discuss a range of topics, such as what it's like to travel the world competing in the sport he loves, being mentored by New Zealand cricket icon Brendon McCullum and his introduction to the Blackcaps. We also discuss the enjoyment he gets from the sport of golf, getting COVID in India, what it's like growing up with dyslexia, and so much more. As always, the show notes will be available on Instagram at Real Tales with Sweens and the website realtaleswithsweens.com. The website will have all the links to listen on your favourite platform, as well as some epic content from all the guests. The good people at Good George have a 15% discount available for all you listeners. Simply use the discount code REALTALES before checking out from their online store. The link to their website is also available on the realtaleswithsweens.com homepage. Lastly, special thanks to Timmy for coming on and sharing his tale with us. So join me as we get to know one of New Zealand's most destructive top-order batsmen, Tim Seifert. Enjoy the podcast. Okay, so I'm sitting here with Tim Seifert. So for those of you that don't know who Tim is, but I'm sure most people that are listening, follow sport, and yeah, it's been a pretty big week in the sport of cricket actually. Hey Tim, with the Blackcaps winning the World Test Championship.
Thanks for having me. It'll be good to sit down for the next hour or so and have a good chat. But what a week. I think there's a few tired bodies floating around, and I think the coffee bills have gone up. But it's awesome to see the boys get rewarded, and New Zealand cricket get rewarded for the hard work. Not only just the 2 years of the Test Championship, but the players before that, the legacy that Baz and Mike Hesson kind of turned New Zealand cricket around, of just their mentality and how they're going to do things. So, we've been, they say, third time lucky. This is the third final that we've been in a row, basically, with the two back-to-back one-day World Cups, and now the first edition of the Test Championship. And I think it's just a great reward for everyone involved and for the fans to, getting behind the Blackcaps and, just getting that reward and something to celebrate about.
Yeah, they've become a real easy team to support, eh? I've always been a fan of cricket, massive fan of cricket, but you talked about it there, with Baz and so Brendon McCullum and Hesson. Through that kind of era, they changed the way they played, and they're easy teams to support because you can tell they stand for something. Or from a viewer perspective, when you see the way they play, they look like a team. They're united. They just seem to have something different that not a lot of the other teams have. To me, I've always kind of looked at cricket like it's a very individual sport played in a team setting, because it is. When you look at the Blackcaps and the way they play, seems to be a lot more united, and I think it shines through in the fielding, and you see the care and the value and how much the fielders throw their body on the line to save that extra run, to make that catch, to back up their bowler who's putting the effort in. It seems to be a real strong.
Yeah, and just on that about the fielding and talking to Baz and the guys and being involved in the Blackcaps, and something that Kane and the senior guys like Southey and all those boys have brought over from when when he left, was that we chase the ball to the boundary, no matter if it's definitely going to go for four or not. Yeah. We show that real passion to chase the ball, so no matter who's watching, we can and if they looked at the scoreboard, if they didn't look at the scoreboard, they wouldn't know who's on top with the body language, so that's one thing that we as players and something that Baz started is that fielding is something that you can control. Sometimes you can't control if a batter whacks your best ball that you bowled, or you get a good ball from the bowler and you get out. But one thing about cricket is that you can definitely control the fielding aspect, and that's just the mindset and the body language.
Yeah, that's wicked, That's cool to hear that, because you definitely see it, and you see it all the time. Like, no one chases the ball like the Blackcaps do. Like, now that you say that, like, I suppose I've kind of noticed it, but you see so many of those, diving, tapping the ball back in just before the boundary rope, and there's always someone else there. It's never one.
No.
Where I think I was watching the test the other night, and one of the Indian players did it, ran, chased, tapped it in, but the boys might have still run 3 or 4 because he had no one else with him. So he dives, taps it in, rolls all over the rope, gets up, jumps back in, and then's got to throw it. But whenever the Blackcaps do that, it's not just one. There'd be another one there, and they flick it up, and then the ball's in. And that's
definitely
cool
one thing that we inbred in the boys is just the body language and attitude that you can control.
Yeah, no, that's wicked. That's why I love doing these podcasts, is getting to know that sort of stuff. From I suppose especially for me, from being an athlete and involved in professional sport and a different sport, I love hearing about the other sports. But we were having a bit of a laugh just before, because me and Timmy know each other through mutual friends, Mitch and Luke Jacobson. So when I came back from overseas and played for Waikato again, the boys were in the team, and we met at a mate's place, and that was just before your international.
Yeah, around 2018. I think
I think it was about 2000. Might have been 2017 we met, and then 2018 you went on to become a Blackcap, and I remember watching that, and I was like, oh, that's the dude that we had a beer with. But we're cracking up because there's a photo in there of us. When was it?
Obviously I've loved my rugby, and played rugby as a little kid, and I would have loved to try the rugby way as well, but I just kind of wasn't really in the situations. Hockey and cricket were always my two main sports. So I've loved rugby, and Chiefs are my team. So watching Sweens playing for the Chiefs, and I was actually flicking through my Instagram before I was coming on. I'm pretty sure I got a photo of Sweens, and it was 2014. I think we were about 2 o'clock somewhere in the morning. we took a photo, but that's quite cool. How we're here doing the podcast now, and we have met a few times now during the way, but 2014 seemed a wee while ago as well. So it's quite cool how things happen.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. It was. I definitely don't remember that photo. Probably for a number of reasons. Probably had a few good George beers that night, but it's pretty cool, and I've talked about it a lot with the podcast in terms of the power of social media. It has its downfalls, and it can be, it can be a hard space to navigate at times, and a lot of pressure comes through it from, I suppose everybody gets a voice on there, but in terms of being able to reach out and connect to like-minded people and keep in touch with friends and that kind of thing, it's pretty wonderful tool in that respect. And I think as humans we're getting better at learning how to use it, because it's pretty new technology, really.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. It's like anything. It's been out there for a wee while, but how you use it, I think people are starting to realise that, and it's great for sportsmen, businessmen. It's a great way to. Well, I see as a sportsman, you are your own business. So it's a great way to get your business, your profile out there, and get your supporters and help sponsors that do support you. So there are definitely great ways about it, and obviously, like anything, there's always pros and cons.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's a wonderful tool to be able to connect. And I suppose, as an athlete, it's quite interesting because you would have had it. You'll get kids that will message and be like, well done, good work, or wicked, love watching you play last night, or whatever it is, and that's pretty cool. It's pretty cool that people can do that, and as long there's obviously
there's
other ones
as well.
It's the balance. Other you're going to get negative, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
you're going to get negative. I mean, as sportsmen, no matter what you do, you could walk down the road and get negative vibes from someone or whatever. But at least if you have the team around you that's the voices that you only care about, then all the rest kind of don't really matter. Obviously, for some people they do read a little bit into those, which is a shame. But you know, at the end of the day, you that sport, that's kind of what's it about, and you know, it's good to just have the close people around you and that actually you care about what they say, not the others. And just back on social media, it's quite cool, you know, being a sport nuffy myself, is that you can look inside other sportsmen's kind of lives and what they do for trainings, or what they do out of their game, if that's rugby players or whatever, that you kind of can get something from them just from their social media and see what they do that you can bring into
it's pretty
into
cool.
your environment. And most of the time it's just seeing what the rugby boys, what golf course they're on or something like that.
I might go play that one.
So it's good.
Yeah, but like even like that though, like it's so good for that connecting side, right? So you see the rugby boys out playing golf, and then they're doing the same thing, and they're like, oh, Tim Seifert's out playing golf, and it's amazing how quickly relationships can form through like-minded interests.
You know, I've played a few rounds with a few of the Chiefs boys now, and you know, it's awesome just to talk sport with them, and just I love you know, seeing what people don't see. You know, so everyone sees everyone, you know, on the rugby field, but they don't necessarily see them in their own house or in the training grounds, that kind of stuff. So just talking to them, what they do off the field and at trainings that you can maybe bring into your trainings or something like that, and just getting friendships from other sport. I think it's a good balance between that, and it's always good fun. Having a bit of banter with them on the golf course as well.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. And it's golf's a great sport, like in terms of, we were just talking about it off here, but being able to play or go and do something, like a lot of sportsmen and women, once you're kind of at that elite level, you have a certain level of coordination, and it's amazing how many athletes take to golf as like a bit of a release. You know, it's pretty low impact. You can go out, you can do it, you know, like we're talking about it, like you enjoy all sports. But if you're a professional cricket player, you can't go play a game of rugby for fun, and vice versa. Like
you haven't seen me play.
100%. Yeah,
but also with the whole handicap rules about golf, like it doesn't matter how good or bad you are, it's a level playing field at the end of the day, because you give shots or you take shots away from each other. So it doesn't matter what sport or how good you are, it's just great to have that little banter on the golf field, and it's a level playing field because of the handicap system. So and as you say, it's great for us when we tour. You know, sometimes people say, oh, you know, it must be great to, you know, have a holiday or travel around while you're on tour, but sometimes you only get to see the airport, hotel and the playing ground. So it's nice when you do have a day off to go play golf and just refresh the mind, and you always have that friendly banter, but that's all part of the relaxing, and you know, that's an awesome way, I feel, to relax and get away from cricket.
One thing I did want to talk about is, I suppose it's pretty common knowledge now that you work closely with Brendon McCullum, but we were sort of talking off air about this topic also, but 2018, you make your T20 debut against England, so you effectively, your dream comes true, right?
Yeah.
Like, you would have wanted to be a Blackcap for a long time. Yeah. You get that opportunity, you're wearing the black shirt, you're out there, and then it goes well. Yeah. You know, and then what followed from that?
Yeah, so obviously as a kid and growing up, I always wanted to be a black stick and a black cap, you know, with playing hockey and cricket. But yeah, it just got to a point that I made the decision to go cricket, and it started off getting that opportunity to go over to England to play some club cricket up in Yorkshire in the Huddersfield League. So that was kind of the point. I think that was a year or two. I think it was a year out of school. So that was the point that I said, right, I'll go the cricket way. And yeah, played New Zealand under-19s, went to the World Cup in Dubai, and then came back, and then got a contract with Northern Districts Cricket, and been here ever since. My dream came true when I was playing against England. Got the call up by Mike Hesson at that stage, and they'd picked me for the Tri Series. It was against England and Australia in the T20 competition. So yeah, I mean, that dream came true, and to put on that black jersey and get that number, it's amazing, and it's something that you'll cherish forever and never forget. So that, and then a few tours happened after that. I think kind of all merges into one, but the dates kind of go. But then we went to UAE to play Pakistan, and then came back, and then we played India. And then, unfortunately, Guppy got injured, I think, a couple of days before our first game against India, and they said, do you want to open the batting? Because at this stage, I was opening the batting for Northern Districts, had a good season with them, broke the record for the fastest 100 in domestic cricket, which was off 40 balls, so that was an awesome day.
We just seen it like a balloon, was it just?
Yeah, I mean, it was just one of those days that if you mishit it, it just went over the guy's head for six. But yeah, you just felt like in cricket, and it would be the same with rugby, I imagine, is that you just feel one step ahead of the play.
Yep.
So you kind of just could read where the bowler's going to bowl it, you just react to that, and it just felt like you're always a step of the game rather than being behind the 8 ball and trying to chase. So that was an awesome feeling, and kind of that was the real big moment of my career, of kind of getting my name out there and showing people what I've got, and doing something different. That's the main thing, I think, is there's so many good players out there, but if you just have that little bit more X factor or something in your game, then that might just get you across that line and win you those games that some people might not be able to. So that's a big aspect of my game, is doing the basics well, but then also trying to be that dynamic player that can turn the game around and end up winning games that might have come out of nowhere. So that's one big thing that I've learned. And then another big moment in my career was opening the batting against India and hitting 86. I think I got out in the 13th over. So,
and you already had 86?
Yeah.
Jeez.
So I can remember me and Munro.
Was that at Eden Park?
No, that was at Westpac. Westpac now Sky Stadium.
Down in Wellington.
Yeah, down in Wellington. So batting with Munners, he's experienced campaigner, opening the batting in T20, so just thriving off him. We both got off to a great start, and that was also my big moment in international cricket to go, I'm good enough to be at this level now. It's just
good opposition to do it against.
And a great opposition to do it against. And as a player, you need those moments in your career to go, I deserve to be in this level. I can compete at this level. Now it's just a matter of doing it consistent, so you stay at this level.
Yeah, because with that too, like, it's not only, he's justifying his position, but a lot of the time it's not the external that need to justify, it's yourself.
100%.
Like I remember that. I remember thinking, my first, I don't know how many games I played for the Chiefs. I thought I was a pretender. I was like, how have I fluked this? How have I got into this position? And then you do it enough, and then you're like, I've actually been doing it for 3 years now. I did go alright against that guy, and he plays for South Africa, or that guy's an All Black, and I had a good game against him, and then you're like, actually I do belong here.
I think that's the big one, is yourself. Knowing that you always dream it, you always believe it, but to actually do it is another thing, and that just makes you more comfortable to go, I deserve to be in this level and I can compete. Now it's just making it a consistent thing to stay, because there's always going to be pressure from other players, and sport, look, you're always going to have a bad series here and there. I mean, that's just part of the parcel. but it's how you bounce back from those bad series, and I think that's what the good games or the good series, that's what you fall back on. Go, yep, what was I doing well in those games? Oh, yeah, something might have crept in technically or mentally. That's maybe I haven't performed as well, but those are the games that you fall back on. Look at videos. Yeah, I was doing that. Right, change that. There I am again. Another good series or another good game, and you're back running again.
Mm-hmm. And the best, they bounce back.
Yeah, they do.
They bounce back quicker or they bounce back harder. You see it all the time. Like it's Sam Cane's like a good example. Copped so much flack leading into last year's Test series. Oh, he shouldn't be All Black captain. Shouldn't be playing. Rocks up to the first Test in Wellington and sets the record for the most tackles by an All Black.
Exactly.
And then the stats come up of that, so it's like, he's the top. He's made the most tackles in a Test by an All Black ever. And they pull up the top 5. Sam Cane's in there 4 times. Richard McCall's only there once.
Yeah, exactly.
And then it's all of a sudden people go, he is good.
But also I find that people are quick to forget as well. You might have a great series or great game, but you have a couple bad ones, and they don't forget. They forget that a few games ago you had a good game. So I think it's as a player, you don't. It's more of an individual pressure rather than what people think, because that's just part of the parcel. Everyone has their 2 cents. So.
Yeah, because I talked to, when I had Anton on the podcast a few episodes ago now, Anton Leonard Brown, he talked a lot about regulating his emotions, and he lived and died by his performances. And that's how he was as a person. But as an athlete, and you'll know this, like at the top level, you can't live like that because it's unsustainable. And if you're chasing external reward or factors, you're going to be like emotional wreck because you go, you get all the love and everyone's it's awesome, and get a new bat sponsor and the rest of it. As soon as you don't perform, that's gone, and then the negative comes in. So if you're living and dying by that, and you're not, I suppose, in a place where you're working on your processes and your consistency and you as a person, then you can fall pretty quickly.
100%, and that's one big thing I thrive myself off is staying on that level playing field, not getting too high for the highs and not getting too lows for the lows, because especially in cricket, I think some stat they say it's 70% failure, but even if you get 100 in cricket, but there's still 10 overs to go, you're still gutted because you should have still been out there for those 10 more overs and done better. So it's just knowing that, like, it's good. You always thrive to be better, but you got to be realistic as well of going, I had a good day. Or even if you didn't get 100, it's about what did I give to the team. If that's just a quick 20 off 7 balls or whatever, that's a match-winning performance in itself. So it's not looking hundreds or 50s. It's actually little moments within the games. Did I get a great catch, or did I create something that gave us the team that wicket? Those are the things you got to look at rather than sometimes the overall performance as well.
And with that too, like in terms of cricket, talk there about 20 off 7 and things like that. Watching that Test final the other night, and then when Taylor and Williamson were there at the crease and they were just batting, just staying alive, staying in it. They weren't under any run rate pressure. But if like one of those were to fall, I'm not a cricket expert, but there might have been someone that came out into that position and went, all right, I'm going to get 20 here, and I'm going hard. And it might not look good on my stats because I might get out, but it's better for the team that I push here right now and try and give us a little bit of breathing room.
Like you look at like Rashid Pant from India, some people say that he's a cowboy, but look at the games that he's won. That Aussie game over in Aussie, he got 80 odd. He got 100 over in England when I think India weren't in a great position. But the way that he plays can get them out of holes and make a big score to get them back on track or not even on top. So it's just about letting those kind of players do their thing, because they can win you games. They might. It's like Colin de Grandhomme. People say, he needs to knuckle down, but he's a match-winning performer with the bat for us, because he can put pressure on the bowlers and win us games out of nowhere. That some people, if they just blocked it or just looked to try and get through it, might not get it. And from a cricket point of view, if those players sometimes try and just block it, or try and play the high percentage shots, whatever, they actually can get themselves out. Because they're looking to block rather than just looking to hit the ball, and that's how they survive. So cricket's, as you said before, it's an individual game, and everyone has different skill sets in a way about going things, but you bring those together, then it becomes a team performance, and that's something that the Blackcaps have done well.
So we digressed a little bit there, but back to you score 86 against India, and then there was a pretty sort of special moment for yourself. One of the greats of the game reached out.
Yeah, it's probably you look back now and go, God, shit, was it a dream or something? Because obviously being a wicketkeeper batter, my whole journey of playing cricket, really, I think I first started wicket keeping when I was in year 5 at Southall. I think the coach, we were short, and he said, "Do you want to keep?" and kind of never looked back. And so I've been watching Brendon and just love the way that he's played, and that's how I've kind of tried to work my cricket as well, of being aggressive and putting pressure on the bowlers. And I got that 86 against India, and I think I was just in my room or something like that, and a message came through on my phone. I was no number. I looked at it, and it was just just saying, "Oh, congrats," and you look back on your career, and this is kind of where you'll say your starting point happened, and you've showed people that you deserve to be at this level and performed at this level, something along that line. And said, "Cheers, Brendon McCullum." And I was like, "You're kidding me!" What? Like, this is unbelievable.
That's testament to his character and how much he cares about the game.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
And I had a couple sessions with Baz before that, when I think it was a New Zealand wicket keeping camp when I was New Zealand 19s. I think there was a few keepers around the country. We met down in Christchurch. I can't remember what year, but well before this. And Baz at the time obviously lived in Christchurch, so he came down and just showed us some points and helped us out. And so I've obviously had a couple interactions with Baz before. So this coming through, I was like, whoa. So I said, and this is the big kind of changing point, I guess, and something I look back in my career is like the great of New Zealand sport of cricket have texted me and showing that he's keen and wants to kind of, not wants to help, but he's gone out of his way to send that message. So I was like, well, I've got nothing to lose here. I knew that he liked a beer or two, so I thought it would be a very good chance to just ask him if we could catch up and have a beer and just, I'd love to just chew the fat with him and what he's learned over the of playing. So yeah, I sent back, thanks, appreciate the text and something like that. And then at the end I said, would it be possible catching up for a beer one time, and I'd love to chew the fat with you and just talk cricket and just learn what you've done in the past. And then the guy that Baz is, he said, yeah, no problems, and obviously both busy playing and him doing his thing. So we managed to catch up, and we just kind of gelled straight away of things that we enjoyed and how we played the game. And I said to him, I'm struggling and I'm trying to, develop my game a little bit on especially my keeping. Some tools and people to talk to. And he was great. He tried to organise the coach that he used when he got dropped from the New Zealand team, a guy called Spud Stumper, his name was, over in Aussie. So we tried to sort that out. It didn't end up happening, but he said, oh, well, I'll just help you out because he taught me so I can kind of teach you. And that's a massive moment in my career. I had nothing to lose asking Baz, do you want to catch up for a coffee? And he didn't have to. And I had nothing to lose. So I was like, well, I've got the opportunity to, why not? You know, for that conversation to happen, anything could happen, you know, from a game point of view and what could come out that conversation. And, you know, now I can call him a mate and kind of, you know, he's not just helped me on the field but off the field as well. So, yeah, it's been a huge moment in my career there.
Yeah, it's pretty wicked, eh? Like, but I suppose I think about it in terms of like a leader. Like if you're, I reckon leaders are born. Like you're born that certain way. Yeah. And I think leaders definitely develop through, I suppose, opportunity in that. But at the end of the day, I actually believe that some people are meant to lead and some are meant to follow. And that doesn't mean that that's how
no right or wrong.
Nah, there's no right or wrong, and there's nothing wrong with being a follower either. Yeah. Because the world needs followers to be. You know, teams need followers. Otherwise, you got all these leaders, then nothing gets done.
And some people's personnel just sometimes aren't leaders, and sometimes if you put those people into leading spots, their game might go down as well because, you know, they just want to focus about their game, and that's fine. So I definitely agree. There's people out there that are leaders and followers, and that's, as you say, there's no right or wrong.
Because I always think back to like when you're kids and you're playing sport. The captain's always the best player, but it doesn't mean he's a leader. You know, it's watching, and I think as you get older and a bit more experienced, and you learn and you watch. And you can just tell leaders in a group, people gravitate towards them. They're really open. They communicate well. They can relate to a range of people, age, race, gender, anything. You know, they just seem to be good with people. And then you see, you know, with Baz, and what he did with the Blackcaps, clearly he's an outstanding leader, and it's in him. It's what he wants to do. And then by you reaching out, you've effectively given him another chance to get back involved and be a part and help the game that no doubt he loves. And for him, you know, to be able to give back, I'm sure must be a pretty satisfying thing as well to see someone develop. And it's pretty cool. He inspired you to wicket bat. To do it the way you did it, and then you get to work alongside him and have him as a mentor. That's pretty wicked.
Because I feel like you know, it's great no matter what sport to ask people, you know, if they were in this situation or when you were in that situation, what was the mindset? Because everyone can see that, you know, quick bowlers on good wickets, you know, he runs down the wicket. But for some people, they just think, oh, that's him. But there's actually, talking to him and about it, there's actually a huge amount of thinking why he's doing that. Not just, I'm going to run down here because I can. There's actually a matter of, right, I'm going to put this guy under pressure, I'm going to run at him this ball and try bang him over the head, and then he might bowl a bit shorter next ball, so then I'll hang back in my crease, and then that allows me to hit it there. So it's not just run down and let's hope for the best. It might not always come out, but there's a reason why he's doing it, for a process of the next ball and all that kind of stuff. So I guess that's what I've really enjoyed, not just Baz, but in that environment with Kane, any players you come across, and being in the IPL, you get that opportunity with the other world best players from other countries of just talking tactics with them, because you don't see that. You see them doing it, but you don't know why they're doing that, if that makes sense. So it's a great opportunity. It's
pretty cool, eh? I find cricket a fascinating sport, because when you're out there and you're batting, you know, it's pretty lonely, and it's a long time. You talk Test cricket, and you can be in the field for a couple of days, but I just assume that cricketers must be the masters of being able to switch the mind on and off, because you can't be on for 5 days. But being able to in between balls, bang, relax, switch off, maybe have a bit of banter with a mate, or just take in the surroundings, listen to a bird chirping, listen to some idiots in the crowd talking, and then just go, all right, bowler's top of his mark, bang, switch it on, and then like half a second later, it's over, and then you switch off again.
Especially 4-day cricket and Test cricket, being a wicket keeper, you know, your days are all depending on who your slips are. Yeah. If they're good buggers and have a good laugh, then it's going to be a good day or something like that. But if you just get a boring guy there or someone that just talks all day, then it gets a bit boring. But no, it's you definitely got to learn. And as you say, you definitely aren't switched on the whole time, and sometimes that's when mistakes happen because you haven't switched back on. But I think that's just something that comes with cricket. You know, it's a long game, especially the 4-day stuff, and that's the grind that we like. You know, that's the old school kind of game. It's like that proves you as a cricketer kind of thing.
Men from the boys.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, it's a great. Yeah. As boring as some people think, there's little battles within the game that when people don't know cricket, they don't see those little battles. But if you understand it, you see these little battles within the Test game itself, which is awesome to see.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, and then you see the history of, you know, certain bowler having it over a batter, and all the funny
memes come up, and
this
is the battle.
Like there's heaps of funny memes floating around with Jameson and Virat.
Especially over the last couple of weeks.
He's had his number.
He has.
So it's pretty wicked.
It's good to see, and I mean, going on that, you know, now they've had that, they go at each other on the field, but they've had that time of being in the same IPL team. That Jamison would have never experienced, and what amazing experience it is to be in the same changing room as AB de Villiers, Virat Kohli, who are the best players in the world, and that's what the IPL, these franchise tournaments allow you to do, is be mates and get to know these guys that you'll never have the opportunity to do, and it only benefits your game. Even if you don't quite go well in these franchise tournaments, you walk away learning from it, and then you might see the results from that learning later down the track. So,
it's a wicked concept, man. Like, it's so cool. It'd be wicked. It'd be awesome if more sports could do that. Like it's a funny one, like rugby's.
But also, he's also got, what is it, $3 million in the bank, so he's pretty relaxed, I think, as well.
There's no more stress. Just run in, it's pretty wicked. There was. We were talking about this. I think it might have been that day even. We're like, this will be one of those moments of like, where were you when? Like, you know, like I think back to the 95 when we won the America's Cup for the first time. I think I was standard 4 primary school. Like I remember watching the races at school. We used to watch them put our red socks on, and you know that was like, where were you when moment, and that's going to be exactly the same. Like, where were you when the Blackcaps won the Test, you know, World Championship?
That's something. I mean, because it's obviously new, first time ever. That is like, it's definitely that sporting moment that Kiwis will remember for years and generations from now. Is when New Zealand won it for the first time and the only team to win it. Because
and it's so much sweeter with the heartache of 2015 and 2019. Like that 20. I don't think I've ever been so sleep deprived in my life. The 2019 World Cup, but I couldn't sleep. I was just watching every ball, like breathing every moment. Like it was so wicked. It was so cool. And then, you know, the heartache of what happened in the Super Over and the drama of that, and then
I think that's the thing. Ever since the 2015 World Cup, I think the whole public supportive and cricket in itself has gone up massively as well, just because I think the way that the Blackcaps are, that the boys that are involved, and they're all good lads, but just the way that they've played the game and the right way, and it's great to say that we're Kiwis and we support the Blackcaps, you know, so it's nice to get that reward.
It's cool. It's like I said back at the start, like they're an easy team to support because they stand for something. You can see it, and it's quite cool to actually hear that coming through the media a little bit now too. It's like we play Kiwi way, like this is how we play cricket. Like that's cool, and it's like we're not going to compromise that. This is you can clearly see that they stand for something, and it's easy to follow something if you can see that the people that are leading it and that they are our leaders in terms of cricket, because they're the pinnacle, and if they're playing a certain way, you're like, and you can see that they believe in it. Pretty easy to follow. You're like, oh man, this is working. No, it's pretty cool. Little bit of a different upbringing for you, which I didn't realise, but do you want to talk a little bit about that and about I suppose that travelling at a young age and then how that's developed and helped you?
Been lucky enough with parents and my older sister that both my parents are school teachers, and I was born in Wanganui and I was there until I was 5 years old, and then Dad got an opportunity to work in Scotland at a school over there, so parents thought it was a good opportunity to show my sister and I the other side of the world, and being school teachers, you get those school holidays, and we really made the most out of travelling, and that's something that I'll look back now and go, that's helped me in my sporting career with all the travel that we do, is that kind of I've been shown the ways of travelling and being on the road from back in the day, and I think that helps a lot because we are on the roads for a lot of time, and sometimes we are living out of a suitcase, but those opportunities that we got as a young kid, I think that just has flown on through the cricketing days, and then came back to New Zealand when I was 10. I think my parents just got to that stage, I was starting to get older and starting to get into those year groups at school that kind of, those are the years that you develop and all that kind of thing, and so I think my parents were like, right, we'll grow them up as Kiwi kids, so we came back when I was 10, and funny, when we were coming back from Scotland, I don't know what they were thinking, but looking back, it was it's quite cool. We stopped off in India for 3 weeks. We had 3 days just by ourselves as a family, and then the other 2 weeks and a bit, we were with a travel guide and a few other families, and we travelled India, and that was awesome. But I remember those first 3 days. Obviously, we've travelled a lot, so I think my parents were just another kind of country. But geez, it was an eye opener, and especially being blonde hair, blue eyes. It was definitely a shock. People coming up to you asking for photos and all that kind of thing, and seeing some sights as a 10-year-old that you've never seen before. So I got culture shock. I think the first 2 days or something, didn't want to leave the hotel, and it's quite funny, our hotel is called Hotel Good Times, and should have been Hotel Bad Times because the aircon wasn't working, and there was all sorts happening. So, but no, it's funny looking back now. I've been to India a couple of times now, and absolutely love the country. It's a great eye opener for someone that's coming from New Zealand, and I really enjoy just how passionate they are for cricket, and you definitely get well looked after, and just the support and the nature of, they just love cricket. It's quite cool to experience. And then so that was a moment that you look back and gone, and I'm the only one in our family that's gone back to India since then. So hopefully one day I can get the rest of my family back out there. But it's quite funny how little things in your life have probably played massive roles now. The whole travelling and all that kind of thing, and that's all part of the sport. And I think that's why that transaction from moving into being a professional sportsman has made that easy, because I'm not going away for the first time to countries with the team. I've been there before, so I know what to expect and all that kind of stuff, and the food, you think you can just walk down and get your salad and sandwich or whatever. You can't have any of that over there because you don't want to drink the tap water. That's the salad's been rinsed, and so all things like that is you learn when you travel as a player and just as a family. So
because the travel side of it too, like I got this a lot, and I imagine you're the same. Everyone's like, oh, it must be wicked, like travel the world. But like you mentioned earlier, it's like, it's me, and I saw this hotel, this training field, and on my day off I went and played one game of golf or whatever, and then you play, and then you get out. So it's like, see a hotel, see a stadium, a training ground, maybe one sort of day off during we always get 1 day off during the week. I'm not sure if cricket's the same, but and we get out and do something. There might be a game of golf, we'll go sightseeing for a day, and then you just sort of move on. It's
amazing, and I think for people that haven't been, like, don't get me wrong, it's great travelling, but it's definitely not the family holiday travelling that some people think you're doing, like they would. And it's very interesting talking to other sportsmen and women about travelling, because some people find it very hard away from families, and especially young ones when with little kids and all that kind of stuff. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's all part of the sport, and that's how we play other teams is travelling. So it's great. But you do get sick of kind of. I guess a big thing especially for me, is for some people going out to a restaurant, that's their one thing in the month. They'll go out, treat themselves, and that's what they're excited for. But for us, sometimes we miss the home food, the steak and just the broccoli and just the little things. And sometimes, you get over that restaurant stuff, and you just want a home cooked meal, because
you want to sit on your own couch.
You want to sit on your own couch, and yes, for some people that's their one night of the month and they're excited for. But just the way that we live in hotels and stuff like that, it can get repetitive, which is sometimes hard.
And also, like, part of that too is sports. Professional sports is a very intense bubble that you're in. So then I always find travel's awesome. For team dynamics, because you need it gives you that time to bond and connect.
You're with people.
And I remember going to South Africa, with the Chiefs, we used to do 3-week tours there, and then some years we'd stop in Perth on the way home, so you'd gone for a month. And cricket must be very similar when you got Test series and the rest of it, long campaigns, but at the end of it, man, all you want to do is get home. And then you always come home, and that first week's just man, everything's kind of, your mates are back around, you see your parents,
and then 2 weeks you want to go again.
After a couple weeks, we should go back to South Africa. But it's just that, I always find it's real good for the team dynamic, but also can be quite difficult too, because you're in a high intense, bubble really, and there's a lot of pressure, and if things aren't going well, but you're all kind of in that same position, and conflicts can happen, and all that kind of team dynamic can be quite a interesting sort of space to navigate.
Definitely, and especially now with bio bubbles and all that kind of stuff, and quarantine after tours and going to tours, your team support and the guys around you are crucial now, because you're literally with them 24/7. You're not allowed to go out of your hotel on your day off or anything like that. So, the support of your teammates have become even closer because of being surrounded in bio bubbles and all that kind of stuff, which has made it hard for some people.
Because it would have been interesting for those boys over at that Test Championship, being the hotels at the cricket ground.
You saw I think start of play or start of the day when
everyone's walks out
when the TVs started on. They did earlier footage of just the boys coming down there, basically a balcony from the hotel room, just straight to the ground. So I mean, little things like that. In all sports, it's the travelling side has definitely changed, and for some people that's just gone, that's me done kind of thing. But hopefully normal travel and life is just round the corner. But it's been interesting, especially with the franchise tournaments I've been involved in that have kind of come from COVID, you know, with the opportunities that I've got. So yeah, it's been amazing, and a funny one as well, looking back of what's happened over the last few months, and definitely builds you stronger, that's for sure. And the quarantine rooms can, geez, some thoughts can go through your head. But
stuck there,
but it's all good. It's just something that you got to do now. Hopefully it's not for too long.
Just on the travel side of it, and like in the Blackcaps, we've got a number of like world, you know, like Kane Williamson is one of the biggest names in cricket, like globally. And like it's quite funny because he could probably walk down Hamilton's main street and not many people would know. Which is which is
funny.
It's funny, like it's weird, but I think it's kind of our nature too. Like, you know, even like Richard McCaw.
I think even if Kiwis did recognise him, you know, they wouldn't go running up and asking for photos. They'll just say to their mate, "Oh, there's Kane or there's Dan Carter or whatever." But when you travel in other countries and in other environments and cultures, geez, they see someone and it's a sprint to get there first, you know, then it's a big swarm and photos and all that stuff, especially in India. But you know, that's and that's one thing that, talking to the Indian boys, they love coming to New Zealand, because a guy or any of them that steps outside their home back in India, they'll get swarmed, but they can go walk for ages in New Zealand, and the odd person might come up to them and ask for a photo, but that's all good. But they can enjoy the coffee and cafes and beaches. So it's amazing talking to, you know, all sportsmen that come and women that come to New Zealand, is just how relaxed they feel off the field, and which is great for a New Zealander to, you know, show that respect to them, and you know, that they enjoy coming to our country.
Because a good friend of mine, Adam Stewart, he works at Heathcote's, and he rang me up because Virat Kohli walked in to buy a blender when they were here playing, and he's like, "Bro, you'll never believe it." Like, what? And he's like, "Virat Kohli's in the shop." I was like, "Oh, true, can I get a photo?" And he's like, "No, I don't want to pester him." But it was like, that was his mindset, was like, he would have done, you know, like he was fanboying hard out, but he didn't want to invade on his personal space. Like I suppose like as Kiwis, I guess it's kind of part of our nature. We tend to just let you know, people kind of have their own personal space in that respect. But it was pretty funny. But he had like one of the boys that worked there. He said he's like cricket mad, like India, grew up in India, and he now lives in New Zealand, and he was just like just rushing for it. He reckons he pretty much tackled him to stop him, like, "Bro, he's like, it's Virat Kohli." He's like, just let him be, like, you know, he'll get pestered all the time, just you know, go and have a talk to him, but don't be all over him. So it's pretty interesting, and I suppose for like Kiwis too, and how
who would your sportsman be if you saw them that you would jump out and tackle them to the ground?
Probably Federer, you know, like just the Tiger Woods.
100%.
Just that. But even then, I don't think I would. Like, I'd want to, and I'd probably just let them walk past, and then I'd be like,
that's the opportunity I said. You got nothing to lose.
Exactly. Got to take it. See if they want to go for a beer. But just in terms of your cricketing journey too, where you played like men's cricket at a young age, and how did you sort of find that? Because I went through something similar. Like I played for Waikato at the age of 17, and that I remember just feeling like I said it earlier on, like I felt like a pretender for a long time, you know, I was like, I shouldn't really be here. But like for you spoke about that off air, about how in terms of cricket, like it really helped you develop. I think I started my cricket obviously in Hamilton because that's where I was going to school, and then when I was going into year 9, I went to St Peter's, and obviously that fell into the Waikato Valley area, so Waikato Valley got in touch to come and join them, and I kind of hummed and hawed a bit, but because I wanted to be in Hamilton and they were one of the top teams, but kind of the more I thought about it, I think I was 15 at the time,
it gave me that opportunity to play in the senior men's Waikato Valley team against Hamilton and Northland counties, which Northern Districts gets picked from. So for me, it was a great opportunity to, Waikato Valley, they weren't necessarily the top team, but playing for them allowed you to play against the best teams. So, if you got 100 or you got that significant score against the top teams,
It's like,
that kind
people
of
stand up and
that
look.
stands out and is a bit more bolder than,
Yeah.
just 100 or whatever. It's actually who you get against. So once I thought about the move, I thought that was a great opportunity to play in men's cricket. And you knew you were probably a little bit out of place, but you knew that you could survive and try your best to get these scores and to move up levels. And I thought that was a great opportunity to just go in the deep end and learn how to swim, basically.
Yeah.
And for my game, I've always been around that older group, even playing hockey, club hockey, started that when I was young as well. So I've always enjoyed playing men's cricket at a young age, because I thought, my skills were thereabouts. Obviously wanted to get a lot better, but at that time, I thought I could survive, and I think it grows your game if you're up to that level hugely when you're that kind of age.
Yeah, and Kane was pretty similar too. You hear stories of
Kane was. Well, I think he made the New Zealand team when he was young. So I can't remember exactly what age, but he definitely made Northern Districts at a young age. But even playing
Dan Vittori too.
Yeah,
was playing
Vittori,
Northern Districts at
Southey,
high school.
Was playing just out of school. I think 18. He made his debut for the Blackcaps. But even that domestic level or that region level, if they're good enough and they think you're going to survive and not chuck them in and then get frightened or anything like that and fall backwards, if you think they're going to thrive upwards, then I think it's a great opportunity for those guys, and I got huge reward from it. And sometimes it's good taking that sacrifice for moving province or moving area, wherever you are, to get that opportunity to play at that level rather than just stay in your safe place and just be happy where you are, but you're probably not extending your game. And I thought that was a great opportunity to move to Waikato Valley so I could be up against the best players. Because
a lot of that, like you do see a lot of success stories. You see it in rugby too, like guys will move, they might be we'll use Mitch as a good example. So Mitch Jacobson, awesome rugby player, should have had a lot more Super Rugby experience, but wasn't getting it. He's been here based in the Waikato all of a sudden, but he got a chance and he went and played with the Sunwolves and just bang, he was awesome. Like his whole game changed because probably getting out of his comfort zone a bit into a completely different environment, playing at a different level, but then everything that he was and who he was good enough to be there. He would just didn't get the opportunity.
And you might, as a player, you might not change much.
Nah.
But just because you've moved environments, things will creep in, and then you'll see those performances on the field. But you might have not changed your game or anything, but you've just mentally had that shift of, I've got the opportunity, I'm going to move, I want it. I'm not just going to stay in my happy place and be comfortable, and I think those are the players that, they go far because they want it, and they'll go to places. Then some people are just happy and will just see where it takes you.
And then there's also that other factor of you get around different people, you pick up different things. You talk about the IPL and the groups of players that are around you, and you start pulling little bits and pieces off their game and putting them into yours, and all of a sudden you were doing this really well, your little skill set that you have, but then you add one or two little tags on the side of that, and then it's
sometimes that's all it takes. It's your core skills are good, but you might just get a little bit of extra of something, and that just takes you that next level. And I think as a player, if that's on the field and off the field, you never know who you're going to meet. So you just got to take full ownership of wanting to go out there and whatever pops up if you get asked to do something, and you just never know. You've got nothing to lose, but you might have everything to gain, So that's exciting for especially nowadays, as I said before, it's sport's your own business, and if you got to move your business to get more reward, then you got to do that. So.
Yeah, because there's real power in like saying yes to things too, I reckon. Like,
100%.
big believer of it. Like when I was playing for the Chiefs and that when I was younger, I remember like the older guys would do promo work and stuff, and there'd be the odd one or two that would, you know, sort of moan about it. Oh, this sucks. Like, do this, whatever, and then you kind of start thinking like, oh yeah, this
sucks.
This does suck. It's boring. But then a few, you know, sort of John O'Gibbs was a good one for me, and I remember he said to me like quite early on, and he was like, make the most of these opportunities because rugby's a small window, but you're going to meet a lot of people. You're lucky than the fact that New Zealand is very well connected in terms of rugby. Like, talk to people and you'll, you know, make sure you mingle, be friendly. You never know who you're going to meet and what opportunities are going to come from that.
And it might not be right now.
No.
It might be at the end of their career and, I met that guy and I've been in touch with him, and you've created that relationship that might not be while you're playing, it might be after you play, or some might be while you're playing, but you just never know. You
just never know. And then I did a podcast the other day with Jessie that will probably come out before this one, and like she spoke about also like just taking things in. Yeah. Like you, as an athlete, you can get stuck focusing on what's next, and just like overthinking things and just channeling all your energy, but actually be aware of your surroundings and like where you are in the moments, and like take those moments in, because you'd hate to go for a real nice purple patch of form and play at all these amazing grounds 100%. And then you can't remember any of it because you're just like, I was just worried about the ball, and it's like, but you know the crowd was awesome, and you feel that, you build off that energy and all that kind of thing. And like sports is so good for that, especially at that top level. Like 100%, you get some pretty wicked moments that you're like, whoa, I was here. Like, holy, like
100%.
Yeah. You also mentioned that you're dyslexic. So I think from an early age, I think while we were in Scotland, we noticed that I had dyslexia and obviously had it ever since. So I guess it's something that a lot of people have, and some people probably don't even realise that they may have a little bit of it. But for me, I struggled at school and like love school from the social side of things and sport and just the group of friends that you make, and but probably only went to school for sport and lunch, but but no, it was good. But I found that some subjects in school that you have no idea about, or you found harder than others, but once you get out of school or while you're in school, you just click to the subjects that you really enjoy and you understand. Is that those are the ones that you got to worry about, not worrying about I suck at maths or English or spelling or any of that kind of stuff, because once you get more of an understanding of what you like, those things will just take care of itself, and you'll follow the path that you want to make, and you'll find ways of getting around the spelling or the reading, and you'll find ways of doing that, but just in other different ways. And you'll be very surprised who actually has dyslexia, and the successful business people and sports people out there that have struggled from it, but they would have had multi-million, billion-dollar companies that people sometimes don't realise that they had dyslexia. So once you figure out, might not be something within school, but you just got to try your best, and for the kids out there, just talk to your teachers to make things easier and all that kind of stuff, because when you get out of school or you find that subject you like, that's the ones that are the important ones at the end of the day. Well, because there's something to that too, so many successful people are self-made, and it's because they're passionate about what they do, and then they just find a way to make it work, and they it helps you persevere.
From looking at dyslexia and the people is like, we're good at thinking outside the box, hands-on, or just think about those ideas that maybe some people might not, and that's our advantage, and you look at, as you say, as business people, you got to solve problems, and sometimes you got to think outside the box, or how do we make this idea even better? So something that it's not to worry about. You know,
Nah.
you just got to find ways around it, but it's not the end of the world.
Nah.
At the time, you think you are, because I remember you're in class and the teacher puts the bloody PowerPoint up and they go, all right, class, you guys read, and it's like, a paragraph long, and you're going, oh shit, I'm behind straight away, because you start reading and you probably get halfway through, and then the teacher goes, everyone done? And everyone's like, yep, and then you're not going to go, oh, sorry, I'm only halfway through, because then every other kid will go like, laugh or go,
exactly.
hurry up.
So much
So then,
judgment,
so you just don't say anything, and then you're behind from the get-go. So then you don't even bother reading the next one, because you're already behind. But if you talk to your teachers and they understand, then they would, remember one teacher, they would just give you that PowerPoint, and you could read it in your own time. Obviously, you'd still read it, but all the PowerPoints are in front of you on a piece of paper rather than just on the whiteboard and reading. So when you do get behind, you can take it home and read. Not saying it did do that, but it's a great idea, but at least you could carry on reading that first chapter when everyone else is reading the next chapters or something like that. So it's something that at the time it's tough, and you definitely do get judged about it, but hey, look where it is now. So
exactly. It is. It's funny though, because it's such an interesting period of your life, like high school. You're so, I suppose, you're developing and molding into the person that you are, and it can be quite a negative environment because as a teenager you don't have any life experience, so and there's not a lot of awareness, so like around dyslexia, like there's so many successful people. I know a number of sponsors that look after us that run multi-million-dollar companies that are, and they're like, I hate writing, I hate words, don't send me an email, like come and have a meeting with me, but there's no awareness around that, and you don't know because you've never lived through it. When you're at high school, you're still, you're so raw and young, and you just don't really know what's going on. But I suppose there's becoming a lot better awareness around certain things, and we're starting to talk more about it. Like we run a speaker series called Everybody's Game here at the Waterboy, which is about homophobia in sport, and just because there's a number of athletes that stop playing sport because of it's not the social norm, and because they're attracted to the same gender, or they're going through a transition period and then it's just too hard, so they stop. But we just need to be, as people, just be more kind and just be aware of, people are the way they are, and you don't all have to be the same.
Not everyone. No one's perfect. So
no one.
You can't judge for those people to if they like that or want to do that, then that's how it is. So I think sport's definitely changing that, which is good.
It is good. Just before we start to wrap it up, because I know you got a tea time that you get to shortly.
Got some money to win off the old boys at St Andrews. So.
Nice. Talk me through, like, so you're about to be married and winter wedding, but obviously being a cricketer, there's probably no other way around that, because it's probably the only time of the year that you're not going to be super busy and have a sort of locked in schedule. When you proposed to Morgan, your wife to be, you were in between quarantine bubbles and
it was quite a funny one. Obviously, I knew I was going to the CPL, which is the Caribbean Cricket League over in West Indies, and when I came back and got out of quarantine, I knew I was probably going to do it within 2 or 3 weeks of coming back. So I, had that all planned out of how I was going to propose and all that kind of stuff. But then 3 days to go into my quarantine back here in New Zealand, I got a message from Brendon saying that they've had a couple injuries in the IPL, which was over in Dubai. We're looking to getting you over here. Would you be keen? I said, dumb question, mate. Like, of course, guy, I think. But he said, "No, okay, that's awesome. I'll get back into you by the morning, and just let you know if you would definitely keen to have you and whatnot." So I was like, oh, okay. I was like, when kind of would that be? And because the tournament's on, I think they're about a quarter way through the tournament now, so I knew if they wanted me, I would be on
pretty
kind of the
quickly.
next flight, and I was like, oh, shit, like, fantastic, I'll be going no matter what. But I knew that Morgs, like, she knew I had the ring and stuff. We chose it together because, you know, I didn't want to guess a ring and her not like it, so you know, that's all good. We chose a ring together before I left, and so I knew she had a little probably peak of I was going to do it soon when I came back, so I was like, oh no, she's probably been counting down the days since I've been back, because she probably expects a proposal sooner than later. So in the back of my head I was going, oh fantastic, I'm off again, but then I was going, shit, what do I do about the ring and whatnot? So and by this stage I hadn't asked the old man Pete, so I was like, oh no, I got to fit that in. So long story short, I rang Morgs and said, look, this is what's come up, that Baz is going to get back to me in the morning, and this was about 11 o'clock at night, so I was not sleeping. So then woke up and got a message from Baz and said that, yep, they're keen as to, that we're keen as to have you. So I was like, brilliant. When do you want me over there? They kind of said ASAP. I was like, okay. So the manager rang and we booked one in for Thursday night. Yeah. So I got out Wednesday afternoon, flew out Thursday night. So I was like, oh shit, I better, you know, do the proposal, and you know, I would have done it anyway. So it was a good time to do it. But I knew I had to ask the old man, and then everyone knew what was happening. So Morgan's mum, Trudy, she messaged me going, oh, do you have any washing that you want done before you go, which basically just got me to their farm in Goddington, so I could ask the old man. So I already done washing in quarantine, so I think I had 3 bits of washing that I needed washing. So I was like, yeah, no, I got washing, sweet, I'll come over. So my sister picked me up. She picked the ring up at the shop in Auckland, so she brought it down, and then you know, got to the farm, and everyone knew why I was there. Like, why else would I be here? Kind of thing. I've only got less than 28 hours until I'm 24 hours until I'm gone again. So what am I doing at the farm? So yeah, there was some small talk, and then I said to Pete. Pete was doing up a new tractor, an old tractor. Yeah. He was doing up, so I was like, I've got no idea about tractors. So I was like, Pete, should we go have a look at the new tractor you're doing up? So that got us out of the house, there must have been a lot of hay fever that day around the farm, because I actually didn't ask him. I couldn't get it out, but he knew exactly what was happening, and he said, yeah mate, I could love to have you in the family. So that was great. And then did the proposal, and that was awesome, and then left the next afternoon, but well planned, I think, from me, because the wedding's next month, but it's all been organised since I've been away. So nice. Morg's been bloody legend. She's a married, she's a wedding celebrant. So
she would have picked up a few ideas.
Yeah, she's definitely picked up a few ideas, whether they're good or not. They're awesome. So she's been wicked organising all that, and you know, that's her field. So it's going to be an awesome day, and look forward to it.
Yeah, wicked, man. That's pretty cool. We did sort of talk about it this morning, but in terms of with COVID in India, like, that must have been scary.
Yeah, obviously, you know, obviously, elephant in the room. I got it, and you know, it was a shit time for the first 4 days. Yeah, first 5 days of getting it, from being told.
Did you feel like real sick, or?
Nah, to be honest, I was very lucky. You know, obviously everyone gets it different, and you know, it's a shame that, you know, how bad people do get it, and it has, you know, killed a lot of people. But for me, it was just like a cold, a cough, a runny nose, a fever, and I lost my smell and taste. Oh yeah. And people were probably going, fuck, he's been coughing all bloody podcast. But I've actually found, since I've been back, my asthma's been real bad. Oh yeah. So I don't know if that's a side effect of having COVID, but I also haven't really been fully tested for asthma. Yeah. So I'm getting a couple of tests done next week, just to see, and changing inhalers and all that kind of stuff. But it might not have anything to do with COVID, but it's just funny.
Just could be
since
interesting
I've come back, I've had it the worst I've ever had it. Obviously the cold weather and all that doesn't help, but
Yeah, changing climates would be interesting, eh?
But also, you know, look, people go, oh, you know, what do you expect? You're going to India and all that kind of stuff. And don't get me wrong, like when you're going, we kind of expected to get it. But, you know, we were in bio bubbles, you know, we got given all the instructions and, you know, it seemed safe. And while we were there, it seemed safe as.
Well, there was plenty others.
And you know, obviously COVID came into the bio bubbles and a few of our teams, and obviously our team was one of them. 2 of our guys got it. But it's one of those things that, you know, I've never had a kid, but I could imagine it's like your partner's pregnant and you're like, I'm expecting a baby, you know, in 9 months' time, life is going to change. And it's all well and good saying that, but once you're actually holding that kid in your hands, you go, shit, life has literally changed right now. And that was kind of like a little bit, it's probably a shocking, you know, comparison, but that was like me, there was like, you know, we're probably going to expect to get it. But it was just the whole timing of getting it, you know. We were about to get on the plane the next day to come home. Tournament had been finished. So for me, I was probably expecting to get it while the tournament was on, or at the start of the tournament.
And then you get over and carry on.
You would have everyone there. You'd have your team doctor, you know, in the same hotel as you. You do your quarantine. You get your 2 negative tests, and you're back out playing cricket. But because I got it right at the end, your whole mindset was, oh sweet, I'm off home. You know, get out of here. COVID's gone nuts. And then to get told that
you can't
come over here when you talk to you, you've got COVID. That's when you're like,
what?
Well, like you're expecting it, but I'm on the plane, I'm going home, kind of thing. You know. So the first 4 or 5 days were tough because all you're hearing was that, you know, India has no oxygen, and you know, you don't know how you're going to react to the virus. You know, what happens if I get real bad, can't breathe, or you know, that kind of stuff. So that was scary. But you know, Brendon McCullum, Fleming, they were awesome just to, you know, make sure everything was in place before I left. And you know, I was getting phone calls, all that from the Kolkata Knight Riders, Vinky, CEO, doctor. Even though they weren't in the same hotel, they were still in huge contact with me and all that kind of stuff. Then you know, Mike Hussey, unfortunately he got COVID at the later part of the tournament as well. So I was actually originally going to go to Chennai. I was in Delhi at the stage where he was, but just the whole process of getting over there was just going to be a bit too full on. So I decided. Was
that just to be like, so you kind of
just so we're
together,
together, or at least he was going to be on the room next to me, or at least on the same floor. So you just felt that someone
was there.
Because I was me and him were the only 2 overseas players, foreigners there of the IPL. So just to feel that everything's going well with him, good system, but getting there in a air ambulance, and the process of that was because I wasn't too bad, or didn't end up being too bad. That whole process would have just been a bit overwhelming for you know, you'd be right in Delhi. So then I moved to another once the boys left. You know, and that was the tough thing, is that when I got told, I had to just go straight up to my room. You know, I couldn't
say goodbye,
hug the boys and say goodbye. We just had to leave we were all having lunch, like obviously 2 meters apart, but we're just all in the kind of lunchroom, and I couldn't even say goodbye. I just had to like wave and say bye guys, and you couldn't have that conversation because they were all shocked, like, what the hell, like. So we had to get a negative test from Ahmedabad to Delhi, where the plane was flying out, and that test, you have to get a test within 72 hours, and that just ran out of time, so I had to get another test, and that's when I got tested positive. But after that 4 days, I knew the virus, it wasn't going to get any worse. I didn't have a raging headache. I could still breathe fine. So it was just a matter of getting through I was still feeling fit and healthy. If I had to go outside and go for a little jog, I felt I could do that because of my symptoms weren't too bad, but just the whole staying in my room, and the whole timing of it, that I had to do quarantine in India, get on a plane, and then do another quarantine in New Zealand. So I had 25 days straight quarantine, rather than, if you got it at the start of the tournament, you have the tournament for a month and a bit, and then you do another quarantine. So it was just the whole timing of it. But as I say, I'm very lucky to, not get it bad. But at the time of being told, and it was tough because you just didn't know how you're going to react.
And they're being isolated.
There in isolation, you got no one in the same hotel of who you know, and what happened if something did real bad, it was all over phone or whatever, or if you had to ring the people at the hotel, you didn't know if there was going to be a language barrier. So just little things like that if something did go wrong. But and I think that's I don't think Baz and Fleming actually understand how much that meant to me, them being so supportive, as well as the Kolkata and the CSK, where Fleming, he was in charge of all their managers because we were in their hotel when I got told, because they were in Delhi and then we were going to go. So those guys don't understand what that meant for me, and what it made it a lot easier to get through that first few stages, and then it was just a matter of getting through the quarantine and getting back home. But it was it's definitely something that you look back and go, well, and you get stronger from it, and you look back and go, geez, a lot of people kind of would have cracked big time under those situations and that environment that you got put in, but unexpectedly. But it's something that you take kind of strong, and you definitely take stuff out of it.
But that's pretty awesome to hear though, that support. Baz has come up a lot during this podcast. He's obviously a great leader and a great man, and then Stephen Fleming was a great captain of the Blackcaps for a long time, so it shows the quality of the people that get into that position.
You look at those guys and you just look at them as cricketers, and they're great, but once again, I've hardly had anything to do with Fleming, but to see what he did for me in those situations,
you're like, well,
you don't see him as those cricketers anymore. You just see them as bloody good blokes, and you do anything for them now, kind of thing, So your whole mindset from seeing them up here as cricketers and heroes kind of flipped, and they're just good lads, and it's
Must have been extremely difficult for Morgs too, being back here, I think family and stuff.
For family and friends and people that knew me, it was kind of there was nothing they could do,
and sometimes that's the worst situation. Is when you can't help, you feel helpless.
But once again, the Heath at the Players Association, as well as Baz Fleming and the Kolkata staff management, they were awesome. Heath was from the Players Association, was ringing mum and dad and Morgs and Baz did as well, just so it wasn't all coming from me, the information they were getting that support from them, is that they were trying their best, and so I wasn't missing anything, key information as well, that they were keeping a regular touch with family back here, and it was good, and you don't expect all that support of messages, but and sometimes your phone was going non-stop, and nothing like between when I found everything was going to be alright after day 5 to 14, it was like I'm still stuck in a room. Nothing changed. So there's a few phone calls that were just on repeat, but I couldn't have thanked everyone for all the support, and as I said, it definitely makes you stronger, and those tough days on the cricket field are nothing compared to that. So
Yeah. Nah, that's cool, bro. All right, well, I wish you all the best, bro. And I'm looking forward to, what the future has in store for you. Like I said, I've said a number of times, I'm a big fan of cricket, big fan of yours. Love the way you play the game, and pretty excited to see where it takes you. And all the best for your wedding next month.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me. I'm sure we'll do other things in the future. So look forward to those. We'll have to get on that boat of yours and try and catch a marlin.
Yeah, bro,
race,
that's the one. Yeah. I'll get you out there.
Yeah,
the only problem is you're busy in summertime.
Oh, there's always time.
You can make time.
We can make time. But no, I appreciate the last few hours, and it's good being talking.
Yeah, no, cheers, Timmy.
Easy, bro. Thanks,
man,
mate.
bro.
Cheers.